What's up? What's up?
Hey, welcome. Hey, welcome.
What's going on? How are
Welcome,
you?
Timothy, to Record Surplus.
My state proclamation from the university, from the state of Minnesota.
Oh, please explain, if you could explain that to the people.
Minnesota proudly acknowledges the legacy of Bob Dylan with roots in Hibbing and Duluth. Dylan went on to become a globally influential musician, shaping music and culture worldwide. And Bob Dylan's journey from Minnesota is captured through stories and music that resonate with audiences both past and present, embracing themes explored in Dylan's biopic, A Complete Unknown. And we are pleased to welcome acclaimed actor Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy?
Chalamet to Minneapolis. His visit highlights the ongoing importance of arts and culture in Minnesota, bridging our musical heritage with contemporary artistic adventures. Artistic expression is vital to our community. All people are encouraged to celebrate the rich cultural legacy of Minnesota and recognize those who emerged from humble beginnings to make a lasting impact in music and the arts. Therefore, I, Tim Walz, Governor of Minnesota, do hereby proclaim Thursday, December 5th, a complete unknown day. Thank you, Nardwuar.
Amazing!
Thank you, Nardwuar, for having me on. Thank you,
You
Nardwuar.
are so complete. So complete, like reading it all out.
Absolutely.
And notice at Record Surplus, who do we see on the wall?
We see the Beatles,
And Bob.
and we see Bob Dylan.
For you.
A little Bob Dylan underneath. I think that's probably 1962 or 1963 Bob Dylan underneath a picture of the Beatles. Nardwuar, demo, dum, 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 demo, dum. Nardwuar, demo, dum, dum.
Nardwuar. 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 Nardwuar.
Who are you?
I am Timothée Chalamet, a.k.a. a young Bob Dylan in the film A Complete Unknown, coming out on Christmas, because I've been told to plug that it comes out on Christmas a little bit more.
And right off the bat, Timothy, I have a gift for you, a Common Sense record from 1994.
Nice, common sense. Chicago MC, Midwest, majorly influential to all the artists that inspired me, and also an actor.
But Common Sense, early. That's early.
That's early, yeah, before he was just Common.
Yeah, what can you say about Common, an actor, Common Sense, back then in 94?
Common Sense was one of the early Chicago MCs that, at a time when, to my understanding, rappers only pop out of the East Coast to the West Coast. He was part of that whole movement in the Midwest, preceding Kid Cudi and the Lupe Fiasco and all the rappers I looked up to. And just an awesome musician. Someone I've been getting into in the last year, the album B. Love the song The People.
And that is a gift for you, for Timothy
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
All right, facts. Love it. Thank you.
And Timothy, the Nutcracker. Is it true you used to run around backstage and change into different outfits?
Yes. I used to run around backstage at the New York City Ballet, where my sister was a young ballet dancer and my mother went as well. And, was like a kid with a chicken with his head cut off.
And you are Timothy
Chalamet.
Mrs. Davis. Kinder
Bueno.
Gar
Field.
10.
Dollars.
Your kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, Miss Davis. Yeah, whoa. Yeah. Insane. Oh, my God. Yeah, Miss Davis. Shout out Miss Davis. Wanted to hold me back, actually.
Yeah, what was that era like?
Yeah.
Was there any common sense in that era?
There was a little bit of common sense in the era, but, I was very young for my grade, and a lot of parents would want their, kids to be the oldest in the grade. And Miss Davis, shout out Miss Davis, I had a great time in kindergarten, but she told my mom, I think this kid should be held back. And my mom was deeply offended and kept me going. Very young, very little for every grade, but, big heart.
Well, I'm glad you kept going. You kept going so much you saw Interstellar 12 times?
In theaters, in IMAX. That's for someone, a non-working actor, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of popcorn. What do you have during a movie?
Milk does. I rip Milk does. I'm talking 12 at a time. Chew, suck the chocolate out, soak in the caramel.
Did anybody notice you were there for 12 times?
Nobody noticed I was in the movie.
Ba-boom.
Shabalaba ding dong.
Eric Foley.
Eric Foley. Fuck is Eric Foley?
You played Eric Foley, a dead body.
Oh, shit, in Law & Order. That's true. Oh, shit. Yeah, Eric, that was my first gig. Law & Order with Anthony Anderson and JeremySistofans.com.
Poor Eric, eh?
Yeah, Eric Foley got murdered. I got murdered a lot as a child. 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old. I think there was something about the sick fucks in New York casting that thought this kid would get slaughtered.
234 West 42nd Street.
234 West 42nd Street. Is that second stage?
The AMC Empire, 25 at 7:30 p.m.
Matchstick Men or The Omen.
Heath,
Ledger, Dark Knight with my grandmother. IMAX screening, my mom, my grandmother walking across the street, hitting the Dwayne Reed for a 35-cent spearmint gum, thinking I'm going to become a fantastic actor.
I think it's incredible. He was in I'm Not There, Todd Haynes, about Bob.
Dylan.
And now you're here with Bob.
Dylan.
Bob isn't here, but you're with a proclamation.
Bob is always here. Bob is here in spirit.
The Booker T. Washington Building.
108th in Amsterdam. Big shout out Booker T. Washington. That's where I went to middle school. Fantastic place. Actually, kind of a horrible place at the time. Yeah, didn't really fit in there.
I have a gift for you right here. It is a Booker Little with Max Roach LP from 1959. And if we turn it over, produced.
Wow, and directed by Tom Wilson, legendary Bob Dylan producer. This is unbelievable. Tom Wilson doesn't get enough love in the Bob Dylan community, if I say so myself. He's sort of the genius mind behind sort of the early rock and roll stuff that Bob Dylan put out, Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61 Revisited. And I think Bob tired of him at some point. Don't really know why. If you listen to the sort of outtakes on early Bob Dylan recordings, sometimes it feels like Tom Wilson could be like, not condescending, but he had a sort of authoritative attitude with Bob.
Eric Berryman, he played Tom Wilson.
He was fantastic. And, if you're playing a real life character and you have little dialogue, little screen time, it's almost more of a challenge. Shout out Boyd Holbrook, who plays Johnny Cash in this movie. Shout out Joaquin Phoenix.
What an awesome vacation.
Absolutely. What a life. And I get to talk to you. How many actors have you talked to?
One of your first roles, you played a French Canadian.
A French Canadian.
What an awesome vacation.
Oh my God. Nardwuar with the deep cuts. Yes. I was the French Canadian casting in a Disney World commercial. And might I say, I was not playing a slaughtered person in that commercial. And they liked me so much that then I got the American role on that too. C'est super, papa. That was my dialect coaching.
And your grandmother was Canadian too, right?
Absolutely. From Brantworth.
Brantford?
Brantford, Canada, baby. Shout out Canada. Shout out North America.
And I wanted to give you a gift in relation to Canada right here. One of the first ever bootlegs, if not the first, the Great White Wonder bootleg by Bob
Dylan. Is this Swingin' Pig?
From 1969. Wow. It has some early recordings done in a hotel room.
Unbelievable.
What can you say about the early recordings of Bob?
Early recordings. Something I'll just point out real quick. The 1959, 1960 recordings of Bob Dylan, he hadn't gotten bronchitis yet, so his voice didn't have this sort of crazy scratch he had the rest of his career. So the Bob Dylan we hear on Nashville Skyline, that sounds more like Kermit the Frog or something, he actually sounded like that originally. Yes, sir.
Interesting. And that actually was pressed in Vancouver, Canada. Okay. A Canadian connection.
Okay.
So the first ever bootleg ever, probably from 1969, was pressed in Vancouver, Canada. The 61 era of Dylan, and a bit later era too.
Amazing. All roads lead through Canada. Shout out Vancouver.
And Brantford.
I was going to, absolutely.
Also, I have another gift for you right here. Some Bob Dylan from that same period, another boot.
Let Me Die.
Some home recordings between 62 and 69. What were the home recordings like?
These were super raw. Let Me Die in My Footsteps is sort of Bob's first profound song. It's about a potential nuclear holocaust. One of my favorite tidbits about Let Me Die in My Footsteps is you can see in the outtake of the D.A. Pennebaker documentary, Don't Look Back, that Bob remembers the melody to the song, but he doesn't remember the lyrics. And he's playing it with some friends, and he doesn't remember the lyrics. And for me, there's like very profound lyrics. And his friends go, oh, the lyrics were, let me die in my footsteps. And Bob goes, that's just corny stuff, man. He was shitting on his own music, Nardwuar.
And check it out, green vinyl. It's green vinyl. Are you into like Bob Dylan bootlegs, etc.? Are you into collecting all this stuff?
Yeah. I got a Victrola. Shout out the corporation known as Sonos. That you hook up the Victrola in it and it plays records around your house, which is... can I open this? Is that
yeah, go ahead. It's green vinyl.
Whoa, never seen this.
And that's a gift for you.
Amazing. I love this green vinyl giving BRAT.
Some early Charlie X.
Some early Charlie X. CX, baby.
Vibe.
Hey, baby, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Hipping High School.
Hibbing High School. Yeah.
1958, the Golden Chords.
The Golden Chords, Bob Dylan's first band, Hibbing High School. Now, the town of Hibbing got uprooted by the mining industry in Minnesota. So what did the mining industry say to Hibbing? They said, we're going to build you the most beautiful school you've ever seen. Because I went there, and it's unbelievable. It's on the edge of Minnesota, and all of a sudden you're in like one of the most beautiful buildings you've ever been in your life.
And when the Golden Chords, his band, was on stage, they had the plug pulled. He broke a piano. Bob Dylan. What happened?
He broke a piano before Bob Dylan was the Bob Dylan we all know and love. He was a Little Richard fan, and he wanted to bang on those keys like Little Richard. They pulled the curtain on him, and people in the school were like, what the hell is this kid up to? But you know what? Shishwang.com. Look at that. Look at that picture.
And you actually went to that school and surprised some theater students.
I surprised some theater students, and
A girl in the white pinafore. They were rehearsing, and you showed up.
and I showed up.
What was that like?
It was incredible that I sat in a seat that they said was the one seat in the auditorium that years prior a thing had fallen and killed someone, and so they told me not to sit in that seat.
And you are Timothée
Chalamet.
Chalamet, and I have another gift for you right here. A record by Big Joe Williams.
Big Joe.
And check what it says right there.
This I don't know. I don't know this. I knew that Bob Dylan appeared on some Harry Belafonte tracks as a harmonica player, but this I got no clue what this is, man.
He was like the house harmonica player, wasn't he, at Cafe Wa?
Exactly. That's how he got pulled.
So he jumped on some Big Joe Williams recordings.
Big Joe Williams. Shout out Big Joe Williams. Shout out Victoria Spivey, who's actually incredible. I'm sure everyone here is incredible. And Lonnie Johnson, Roosevelt Sykes, Big Joe Williams. What track is Bob on? They don't say.
But 5 years you learned harmonica? Like, it wasn't easy, was it?
No, not easy at all. Love playing the harmonica. It's the perfect thing to pull out of a party to make everyone cover their ears and go, oh, God.
Now, around that time, Dylan met Elle, Sylvie. Can you explain?
Yeah, Suze Rotolo.
Or Suze.
Yeah, that's
explain that.
Her real name is Suze Rotolo. Elle Fanning does a wonderful job playing her in the movie. Suze Rotolo was Bob's first girlfriend in New York, kind of opened his political conscience, pointed him towards social causes, was very formative in the early life of Bob Dylan. A beautiful person, great book, A Free Wheel in Time. If you're bored and tired of watching Nardwuar interviews, pick up a book. Free Wheel in Time. Shout out Suze Rotolo.
And you, Timothée, you're an expert on Bob Dylan nowadays, but it's confusing. Check out this record. Bob Dylan, a.k.a.
Blind Boy Grunt. Unbelievable. Where are you getting this stuff?
Well, from Record Surplus.
No way. They don't have this here.
Yes, I bought that from Record Surplus to give to you.
No way.
What can you say about that era? That's a very early era.
This is super early. I mean, Bob Dylan has 75 versions of him as epitomized here.
But he's not called...
He's called Blind Boy
Yeah, what
Grunt.
could you explain that?
Well, he went by a lot of things. You know, he said he was taught guitar by a cowboy named Wigglefoot and that he was born in New Mexico, abandoned by his parents, then was broadsided by a profile in Newsweek in 1963 and basically never gave a straightforward press interview ever again, the way I'm giving you a straightforward one right now. No,
Thanks for all the info. This is incredible.
absolutely. Now, Phil Oakes, big shout out Phil Oakes, another fantastic folk musician downtown, didn't really get the accolades that Bob Dylan got in his career. Some people think Inside Llewyn Davis, the Oscar Isaac movie, is inspired by Phil Oakes. Lynn Chandler, big shout out Lynn Chandler, who taught Bob a lot of his early chords and taught him the chords of the song Death of Emmett Till. Shout out Lynn Chandler.
And that's a gift for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for explaining Blind Boy Grunt.
Boy Grunt is unbelievable. That's like, that's, did you have a name before Nardwuar?
Let's just keep that maybe undisclosed at the moment.
Nardwuar, shamo don't de sambo debo don't.
Nardwuar.
Damasa de ba ba da. There we go.
And Timothée, a Newport record from 1963 featuring Joan Baez, Monica.
Joan Baez.
What can you say about Monica?
Monica's fantastic in the movie. Monica is the only person in our cast that is a fantastic guitar player and flew jet, a fucking military jet on Top Gun. Shout out Tom Cruise. Shout out Miles Teller. Shout out Top Gun.
But looking at the footage, like a lot of people were sitting on the stage. Could you explain a bit about the Newport? People on stage, the cool looking mics.
Yeah, everyone was sort of seated. There's no festival that exists like this anymore. It was sort of like this is a really, really lame metaphor. There was a Coachella for purity and there was a Coachella for non-purity. The Coachella for purity was the Newport Folk Festival. The Coachella for non-purity was whatever was happening and playing on the radio at that time. That was kind of considered commercial, whatever. So these folk festivals, people kind of gather around, sit down. It was sort of informal. Bob Dylan went to the Newport Folk Festival, played electric music, got booed off stage, sort of became the first punk rock figure in American cultural history, something that now might seem trivial, playing an electric guitar, but at the time was like sticking to 12-foot middle fingers up and saying, Nardwuar, Shamadodi. Yep.
And that's another gift for you, Timothée.
Chalamet.
And I was curious, Woody Guthrie, I have another gift for you. Jack Elliott sings the songs of...
Oh, wow. Woody Guthrie. Holy shit. This is, I don't know. You didn't get these all at Record Surplus. No chance. I know we're shooting here, but this is unbelievable. I mean,
What can you explain about this situation? The songs of Woody Guthrie. Like for you, Timothée, quote, Woody wants to hear something. You
got anything?
You
Wait,
shy.
You shy.
You shy.
You shy.
Yeah, that's from the movie.
You shy.
What's going on there? Could you explain that?
Yeah. Jack Elliott sings the songs. Woody Guthrie. If Pete Seeger was the god of the folk movement, Woody Guthrie was the mega god. I'm talking Poseidon times to the exponent of 4 gazillion. And Jack Elliott was a fantastic disciple of the folk movement. To my knowledge, went on the Rolling Thunder Review tour.
Dylan was the son of Jack, kind of.
Yeah, in some ways, just some great imagery of of Jack Elliott and Bob on the back of a pickup truck or in Manhattan. Now, I don't know if Jack Elliott specifically, but a lot of people in the folk movement in New York felt a little spurned by Bob Dylan because not a lot of them had great success, and Bob Dylan was like a rocket ship. A lot of them got blacklisted in the late 50s. No shout out to the blacklisting McCarthyism government of the late 50s. No shout out there.
Another record, another gift for Timothée Chalamet, some Johnny Cash original on Sun.
Sun Records. This is all the stuff that Bob would listen to when I went to his childhood home in Hibbing. And Bill Pagel, big Bob fan who owns the house, had the original acetates of Sun Records, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, and this is great. I mean, Johnny.
I was curious. Boyd plays Johnny in the movie.
Yeah. Boyd Holbrook, amazing. How do you take up where Joaquin Phoenix left off? Somewhere he did it. Somehow.
What's the difference between Boyd and Woody?
Boyd and Woody, the characters, the difference between the characters?
Yeah, and Pete.
And Pete, well, Johnny Cash is sort of the devil in Bob's ear saying, pursue your art. Pete is sort of the friendly father figure who ultimately is telling you to tuck your shirt in and buckle your belt. And Woody Guthrie is like your grandfather who, used to, rip blunts and was your fucking homie, and but now is probably worse off health-wise.
Also, Dave Von
Ronk. Oh, man, Dave Van Ronk. I'm sorry. I think the Oscar Isaac movie is probably based on Dave Van Ronk, not Phil Oakes. Dave Van Ronk is sort of, the underground Bob Dylan. Is
played by Michael.
Played by Michael Church. In this movie, you see him in a couple scenes. Dave Van Ronk had a beautiful career.
He did a great version of House of the Rising Sun.
He did a great version of House of the Rising Sun that people thought Bob Dylan stole on his first album, Bob Dylan LP. But, if you don't record it, and Paul Clayton, who wrote the song Where Have All the Flowers Gone, that's very influential to Where Have All the Flowers Gone, on time. It's a Girl from North Country, I think. He also killed himself by dropping a toaster in a bathtub.
And that's a gift for you, some Dave Von Ronk, who's in your movie.
Insane. Thank you so much.
Looking at the movie clips, you have an amazing wardrobe. Like that shirt, the green shirt. What was the green shirt like?
Green polka dot shirt's what Bob wore. That was the thing with Ariane. The costume designer said, you're just going to wear it. You're just going to wear it. I don't know if I ever wore it. My friend Al Cooper in the movie is supposed to wear it. And you see the leather jacket so sparingly in the movie. And it's such a folk Bob in it, and I was begging Ariane. We had one scene left to shoot. It was the scene with Johnny Cash outside, and I said to Jim and Ariane, please let me wear this green polka dot shirt. It's so great. And I won that argument. I just put my foot down.
Was it vintage or made to look vintage?
No, that was made to look vintage. I'm pretty sure that was made to look vintage.
What happened to that shirt?
It's in my closet at home.
Oh, you got to keep it?
By the way, I know exactly where it is because it's folded humiliatingly next to, some fucking,
Did you have to buy it, or how did you get away with taking the shirt?
She very generously gifted it to me. I took some of the guitars from the movie. I took the outfits, and I took the experience with me.
So Newport, 1965.
Yeah.
Dylan, you playing guitar. That took a lot of effort to learn the guitar.
Yeah, 5 years, but at the same time, not a lot of effort because I just all the downtime I would get, I would just play, and I loved it.
And now you know guitar.
And now I know guitar.
So what's going to happen?
What's going to happen is,
well, I have a gift for you. I have a gift for you, an actual pedal.
No way.
And look what it says on the pedal, if you could hold it up to the camera.
Oh, my God. It says Nardwuar, the human serviette, and Timothée Chalamet versus. Are we going to have a Guitar Hero style riff off?
Well, that was custom made by Adam from Satellite Amps in San Diego. And check out what it says on the back. There's a little description of what it says.
AJ Fet boost to celebrate when Dylan went electric. One of the first examples to elevate an acoustic guitar to electric or to boost an electric to a godlike state. With respect, Adam Grimm, 619.
Oh, I will leave that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fantastic. Thank you, Adam. Unbelievable. Shout out this Dune press picture on the rooftop of a London hotel.
Do you think you possibly will use the pedal? Like, continue on with the guitar?
I'm a better acoustic guitar player than electric guitar player, but maybe one day I'll be one of these vain actors who puts out a very self-indulgent album that those around him says is decent and then gets shredded online.
So here's a big question. Did Dylan use a pedal at Newport?
To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, he just plugged in directly to the amp.
So there were no pedals on stage at Newport?
Oh, you might have gotten me. No, I'm pretty sure he just plugged into the amp.
You don't remember in your, at least, vicinity there being pedals?
No. Nope.
So there was the Butterfield Blues Band.
Unbelievable. Yep. Unbelievable. The Butterfield Blues Band. Mike Bloomfield, incredible guitar player. You could see him in the documentary Monterey Pop. He also had a tragic life.
And they played in 65, and the Chamber Brothers did too, quite loud. So when Dylan came on, was it that much of a surprise? Like, other people have been loud at that very fest.
Yeah, it's just that Dylan was championed by the folk movement. He was supposed to be their hero. So the other electric players up there, there's a couple theories about this. Some people feel like he turned their back on the folk community. Some people said it was just mixed terribly. So you're in the front row and your ears were getting blown out. You couldn't hear what he was playing.
There was loudness, though, at that fest.
There was loudness, but I don't think he allowed a rehearsal, so I don't think anything was mixed. Granted, Like a Rolling Stone was in the top 10.
No rehearsal.
No rehersal.
And for Timothée, there's no rehearsals.
No, everything's live, baby. Everything is live. Life is live. The movie was live. The movie was live, by the way. But what was I going to say there? I think they might have done a sound check, but it was very impromptu. Dylan did 3 songs. He got booed off stage, and it was sort of the collapse of folk music in America and the takeoff of rock and roll. There was the Rolling Stones or the Beatles or the Kinks,
You mentioned Mike
Bloomfield.
And I have a gift for you right here. This is Ugly Things fanzine, an amazing fanzine with wild sounds from past dimensions. And if we open up an article on Mike Bloomfield.
A 16-year-old Michael Bloomfield in May 1960 playing with a high school combo. Left to right, Bloomfield, Jason Lasky, Bob Greenspan, Tom Mann. The Paul Butterfield Blues Band and sound check at the Newport Folk Festival. Unbelievable. July 28th, 1965. Jerome Arnold. This is unbelievable. That's the stage that we were playing on. They rebuilt it like that. And big shout out Mike Bloomfield because he was just a genius guitar player. He was the son of like a company, a family that made all their money with salt shakers or something. They were like very powerful, rich salt shaker.
You can read about that in here.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. But was still a very gifted guitar player. Just goes to show it ain't the background, it's the talent.
Like Maggie's was so good. Could you describe that night? Like him doing Maggie's Farm. The solo was incredible, wasn't it? Did it freak Dylan out?
Yeah, I think it freaked. Well, I think Dylan kind of just knew to let Bloomfield go. But the first time I listened to those tracks, Nardwuar, I thought it was Dylan doing the riffs, and then it was sort of humbling to know. I mean, the guitar parts, I hold that performance in reverence, but the Dylan guitar parts are quite simple on all those songs. He's just playing chords. But Bloomfield is he's doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Soccer Timmy.
Soccer Timmy, there's so many Timmys in my building that I was Soccer Timmy growing up.
And you were a coach of some soccer at age 13 in France.
In the neighboring town of my dad's, Chaumont-sur-Lignon, neighboring town, Saint-Agrève.
And in Saint Etienne, you actually chased the team up a hill to a hotel on your bike?
Yeah, that's true. The hotel, goddamn.
Bello.
Yeah, wow. What universe are we in that you just said that, though? Yeah, the hotel, what is it? Bello Horizon.
Bello.
Bello, okay, Bello, yeah. And chased the team up there, Beth Team Bigomi.
On your bike, so you got the autograph and then you chased the team for more?
No, I think I just chased them. Dimitri Payet, it was like that generation of Saint Etienne players. Big Saint Etienne fan, probably the team I support the most in the world, that or the New York Knicks.
Mr. Lobenhofer.
Wow, LaGuardia drama teacher, very formative guy, director of the Rising Stars talent show at LaGuardia. Blessed me letting me do my rap acts and not giving me secondhand embarrassment.
Miss Faison.
Miss Faison, it all begins with Miss Faison. She's the one that told me that I should pursue a career in acting. Beautiful, generous drama teacher. Love Miss Faison. Shout out Miss Faison.
Le Chambon sur Liano.
Lignon, baby. That's good pronunciation. I see you got some Canadian in you. You got some French Quebec in you.
And you went to swim at the beach there?
I went to swim at the beach that's really literally just grass and rocks and frigid water because it's in the mountains of France. It's not much of a beach.
But it's very famous, though, isn't it?
It's I don't know. I mean, it's famous in the town. It's definitely famous in the town.
Le Puy-en-Velay.
Yeah, Le Puy is like the sort of big town in that area. Willie Sagnol, French defender, came from that town.
There's cool, like, chapels there.
Yeah, cool. The whole area is old, cool stuff. You're not going to find any sort of Apple store. You're going to find shit that was around 600 years ago.
And I have a gift for you. It's relating to the movie. It is Arlo,
Guthrie, wow. Arlo Guthrie, Woody Guthrie's son. Unbelievable.
an original promo poster from 1969. What can you say about Arlo Guthrie?
Arlo Guthrie first opened the door when a vagabond Bob Dylan knocked on the door of Woody Guthrie and was sort of stunned by this guy's appearance, Bob that is. And Bob said, "Is Woody home?" And I think the nanny was like, "Get off the property," you know. But Arlo had a career in his own right, and was a major artist in his own right, you know.
He had the song Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah, Alice's Restaurant was this huge. It's like a long song. It's like a 12-minute song or something, I think, maybe.
And it made me think food. Bear Burger.
Bear Burger, wow. Yeah, I think Bear Burger still exists. You know, what's tough with opening restaurants in New York is, you know, what's popping in like 2012 or 2024, like 10 years later, it's hard to keep your, I don't know. Bear Burger was like, I used to go there on 26th and whatever on 3rd, and you sit there, you order a burger, you'd wait an hour and a half for it, and then when it came, it was delicious.
Big Nick's.
Big Nick's on the Upper West Side, man, you'd get the garlic knot chili, and that closed. They bullied that guy out of there. Big Nick's, the guy, the owner, would hang out in the back. The logo was his face, and it was a great place to go after the theater. And I remember I went there when my play closed when I was 15, and I overheard a girl saying to her mom, "I'm happy I graduated from NYU, but I just wish I didn't have so much debt." And it was like a light went off in my head, and I was like, I'm not going to let myself have debt.
B&B Bagels.
Yeah, big shout out B&B Bagels. There's just too many good bagel places.
Thompson Square Bagels.
Thompson Square Bagels.
What's your order on a bagel?
Bacon, egg, and cheese on a salt bagel. If I'm feeling like getting a little bloated, I'll put it on an everything bagel, let my gut expand a little bit.
Well, you are Timothée Chalamet. And winding up here, Timothy, I want to give you another gift right here, a Skrillex LP.
Whoa, Skrillex.
From 2023, and we turn it over, track number 6.
Skrillex and Kid Cudi, Summertime, fantastic. And Young Lean, shout out Aiden Zamiri over there. Aiden Zamiri is a beast music video director and director, and somehow there's a glitch in the system where he's agreed to help me chronicle some of this Bob Dylan press, but it's way beneath his pay grade. Usually he has a ton of camera assistants, and there's a horrible glitch in the system has emerged. And oh yeah, and he shot this t-shirt. He shot the picture on this t-shirt for the Rolling Stone cover I did. You know, just bring in the fucking heat, Nardwuar.
So I'm giving you the Skrillex record.
Unbelievable.
Do you already have that song?
Summertime.
Like, do you collect some Cudi stuff?
Yeah, I collect Cudi stuff all over the place. Your interview with Kid Cudi is one of my favorites ever. It was unhinged. I don't think he knew what he was walking in on. If anybody's curious, go watch the Nardwuar Kid Cudi interview. It shows what a great journalist Nardwuar is, but ultimately it shows what a fucking badass Kid Cudi is. All respect, Nardwuar. And Skrillex, Skrillex was a scary artist for me because when I was in high school, it felt like lyricism was a dying thing, and I thought this was going to be music forever.
And that's on Lemonade vinyl as well. Cool. And you first saw Cudi in Montreal, Canada.
Montreal, Canada. I missed him in New York because I was in such a daze my first semester in college, and I got on a 10-hour train to Montreal because it was the closest city he was performing in. It's a beautiful train ride. If anybody ever wants to do it, New York to Montreal, you're going through, just a majestic setting. And I was in touch with a producer, Mary Pat Bentel, I want to say her name was, who produced Spinners, and she had produced the movie Cudi was in. She set me up with him backstage, and I kicked it with him and Dot the Genius and Dennis for like 3 hours. It was strange.
How did you get into him? Was it like the 65th Street Tower?
It was suggested music. It was suggested music on Apple. Day and Night was huge, but Day and Night wasn't my way in. It was soundtrack to my life. And man,
how did you stumble upon it?
I don't know. I feel like there was limited. It wasn't like now. You didn't find your niche, or like I feel like a grandpa, but like you didn't find your niche artist on Apple. It was like on SoundCloud or whatever. You took what was in front of you, and Cudi was this offshoot of the good music world, and he spoke to a lot of people in my generation that just felt angsty,
And you were knighted by Little B?
Oh, yeah, baby. That's another great Nardwuar interview. Nardwuar and Lil B, the bass god, backstage somewhere in some fucking weird setting. Lil B, the bass god, I was saying this to Tyler, the creator, on set recently, because Tyler had no idea that I was knighted by Lil B. And then he said he could sense my aura. Gave off someone who had been knighted by Lil B. Lil B is like a hugely formative artist in my life and career. He dropped an album called I'm Gay, and the rollout was very ambiguous about his sexuality or the meaning of the album, and I was just inspired from the sense that, wow, this guy's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, and it was just very cool to me at the time in this genre of hip-hop that he was just like all over the place. Love Lil B. Shout out Lil B.
And you met him at school?
I met him at NYU. I had $50 from a commercial I did. I bribed a kid to give me his ticket. I was in there alone, front row to the right. I raised my hand. I got called on by him. I was telling him I was going to ask out a crush. He invited me on stage and he knighted me. And honestly, he said that boy's hand's been blessed. And from there, my acting career took off.
Thank you, bass god.
Thank you, bass god. I was struggling before that. I'd basically just done Royal Pains, and then, I was nominated for an Oscar by the time I was 22, Shout out Lil B. Nothing possible without Lil B. Pray to the bass god.
And some music. Quote, these ladies calling me Manning
Eli. Shout out Manning Eli. Shout out Nicki Minaj, LaGuardia High School, Roman's Revenge, Original Barb, Day One.
Rapping on the 2 Train.
Rapping on the 2 Train, absolutely.
Could you please explain that era? Rapping on the 2 Train. Eli Manning.
Eli Manning, no.
What were you doing?
I was just...
What am I quoting?
On the 2 Train, rapping on the 2 Train, I don't know what that is, but I was just a crazy kid in high school. Now, that was music that was on the plate, man. She came from the high school I went to, So, big shout out Andrew Manning and everyone who had the patience for me at that time, because I was a fucking maniac.
Marlon Craft.
Marlon Craft, come on, Marlon Craft.
What can you say about Marlon Craft?
Marlon Craft, we grew up in the same building. He's a fantastic rapper. This is just, Marlon Craft's a beast, man, and I love this record. I love his grandma's voicemails on this record.
Now, the building you grew up in.
Yeah, Alicia Keys, Samuel Jackson, Marlon...
Terrence Howard, Jerry Orbach from Law & Order. Why? Like, how did it happen?
It's an arts building. To my understanding, they built it as regular apartments in the mid-'70s, but the mafia was so infiltrated in Hell's Kitchen that they couldn't get anybody into the apartment, so they cut a deal with the federal government to say, hey, we'll provide low-income arts housing. And they got all these crazy artists in there. It's a fabulous place to grow up in, but it definitely motivated me to, I realized I was like, wait, I'm 14. Like, now's my chance.
And that's where you saw Marlon.
And that's where I grew up with Marlon. That's why I was Soccer Timmy, because there was multiple, I don't know why there's so many Timmys in the building, but I was like the kid with the soccer ball all the time. So they call me Soccer Timmy. And Marlon's a beast, man. Just saw Marlon at the Yankees game, met his girlfriend. He's a beast.
I know the movie is kind of 61 to 65, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's the era.
But I thought still, winding up here, I would give you a gift, the Bob Dylan Greatest Hits, but if we turn it over, a mint poster.
A mint poster?
You don't often see the poster mint. Let's check it out.
You don't see the mint posters, and this is believe it or not, this is the greatest selling Bob record ever.
But it's from 67.
It's from 67. By the way, this compilation stuff, no one was really doing compilation greatest hits albums yet, and his label kind of put it out as an experiment, and it became a huge hit, and then I think Bruce Springsteen and a bunch of other people started to do it, but he was sort of the first. Let's check out this mint poster.
Yeah, I was curious, what can you say about 67 versus 61 to 65? The movie ends.
The movie ends in 65. Bob's life became...
Part 2, maybe?
Part 2, yeah, you could do part 3, part 4, part 5, depending on how people react. But you could, the period after 65 is very mysterious in Bob Dylan land. He had a motorcycle accident. It seems like he really did, but people can't... He really needed a break, is what it seems like. And it was cool. He made really, just strange, like... It was just a different vibe. Nashville Skyline, New Morning. Those are just different albums.
Amazing mint poster, though.
This is unbelievable.
Untouched.
Now, I got a fun fact for you. Milton Glaser, I think is the artist here. I think he went to my high school. I could be wrong about this, but I think he went to performing arts, and I think he did the I Heart New York logo, believe it or not. And I'm pretty sure he did this. But thank you for this mint poster. I'm going to frame this.
Yeah, no problem. I guess a lot of people have that poster, but it's like on the wall. It's totally ratted. This is like mint. It's rare, isn't it?
I have a ratted one.
You do?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not original. So
where'd you get it?
I got it. I don't know where I got it. I can tell you. I didn't steal it.
Baboom. And you are Timothée?
Chalamet.com.
And Timothée, are you looking for anything? This winding up here, we're at record surplus. Maybe like this, if we could go around here, the movie section. What do we have right here?
Wow, we have the Dune The original.
The
one?
Dune soundtrack.
This looks like the original. Dune Part 1. Shout out Hans Zimmer, the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. Period. Big Bob Dylan fan too, by the way. Though you don't hear a lot of Bob Dylan and Hans Zimmer's scores. Hope that doesn't offend anyone.
Directed the other Dune you were in, directed by Canadian.
Directed by French Canadian legend Denis Villeneuve, who is one of, if not the greatest working director right now. Just goes without saying. Denis, big reason why I'm even getting the chance to talk to you. Fantastic director, even better human. Love that man. Thank you, Denis, for everything. And I hope you're watching this because I'm with Nardwuar.
And just quickly, is there anything here that catches your eye as we go along? Go along here.
Go through all this. Barbie, big shout out Greta Gerwig, Billie Eilish, love Barbie. Steve McQueen, Bullet, awesome. Steve McQueen.
And let's go around here. If we check around here,
Now we're in rap and hip hop. Now we're De La Soul, Eminem. Let's see what kind of Eminem they have. That's just his Gangstar.
sold out.
Sold out. He's doing well. Let's see. Let's see if there's any Kid Cudi. Why not? Right. Mac Miller. Kid Cudi, let's go. Okay. Man on the Moon 2, Insano, Indicud. And this must be, what is this? I've never even seen this. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is another Insano. I actually have all of these already.
And then catching your eye, we're speaking here to Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, you know what? I'll go for a little Lauryn Hill. Miseducation Lauryn Hill. Listen, I'm going to be honest to, my lack of music education. This is an album I got into the last year, which I know makes me about 20, 30 years late to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, but I was absolutely floored by how incredible this album is. There's a live performance of Lauryn Hill doing X Factor from 2023, I want to say. That's really one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. She's wearing this crazy hat, and a lot of musicians a lot of artists, hard not to lose it. She didn't lose it. My God, amazing.
Anything else?
Let's see here, Sade, woo, Supremes, man, oh man, Amy Winehouse. What's on this side? Let's see.
Rock?
Rock, Love, Laffy, King Crimson, Moody Blues.
We have some folk over here.
Folk. Let's go in the folk section. Joan Baez. Okay, this will be fun. Let's rip this section real quick. Hank Williams. Okay, major. I've given Hank Williams enough love. One of the most, if not the most formative artist in Bob Dylan's career. The golden dream of Hank Williams, a real legend. Sort of the first rock and roll victim ever. Died way too soon and was sort of like one of the biggest artists in American history. What tracks are on here? It doesn't really say, but I will grab this because Hank Williams is incredible. CCC, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna go quickly. Brothers 4, incredible. Sort of like they came from a fraternity at Northwestern, and like very, sweet, very sweet, beautiful harmonies. I'm gonna grab a little Brothers 4. Let's see what Joan Baez is cooking up here.
Big section.
A lot of Joan. Come on, Joan. People need to buy their.
She deserves a big section.
Okay, this is like the classic Joan Baez right here. The first 10 years. Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, written by Bob Dylan. Just Silver Dagger. Unbelievable. I'm gonna grab that. Don't know what our budget is here. Richie Havens. Richie Havens was one of the coolest performances at Woodstock ever. The Richie Havens at Woodstock is just incredible. I mean, like, freedom. Just unbelievable. Kingston Trio. Another great folk, great folk from the time of Bob Dylan. Arlo, Woody Guthrie, same section. Feels like they should probably split that up. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Peter, Paul, and Mary made Bob's songs famous before, his songs were famous. They were part of, Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Byrds. Can we find the Byrds? Because they put Bob's songs on. Pete Seeger, got to grab some Pete Seeger. Here we go. Pete Seeger, unbelievable.
Chris! What about some Birds? There's Chris from Record Surplus.
Hey, Chris, is there any stuff from the Birds here?
Maybe in the rock here.
I'm gonna grab this. Wow. Okay, let's go over there. Okay.
Chris from Record Surplus helping us out.
Surplus helping us out. We gotta grab a little Frank Ocean while we're here too. Hello. Okay. I don't wanna ape your whole Bob Dylan section, but by the way, coolest line notes, whatever they're called. this record. I mean, this is insane.
You want to show that up to the camera?
This is another side of Bob Dylan. This is the one record from that period of 61 to 65 that didn't really get a lot of love when it came out. People try to kind of shit on it. Here, I'll just read. This is like insane. It's just like all just like maniac writing he did. I'll read a random paragraph. He goes, I reply, pointing to my chin, and she believes me, needs no other answer. I strum the guitar. She dances, laughs. Her bandana flies. I too realize that she will die here. On the side of the sea, her death is certain here. My death is unknown, and I come to think that I love her. Crazy. Okay, Nardwuar, I swear I'm going quick.
No, that's fine. Take your time.
You know what? I'm going to go with Knocked Out Loaded. This is not...
Now, explain that.
I mean, this is just not one of... respectfully, I don't think this is one of his classics. These are all classics. Blonde on Blonde, Pat Garrett, you know. Huh, this looks like a bootleg or something. I don't know what this is. Cool stuff. Yeah, I'm going to go look at this cover. I don't really know Knocked Out Loaded. You learn something new every day.
Amazing discoveries at Record Surplus.
discoveries
And
at
as we go along here, I think we can find birds.
We can find the birds. I'm going to take a little brat, you know. Shout out Aiden. You know, beautiful. Lime green. Or not lime green. I think there's a word for it. Don't kill me online. Okay, the birds. Yeah, here we go. Mr. Tambourine Man. There's the cover. So this made Mr. Tambourine Man famous before Bob ever made it famous. The birds. Cool stuff. And they did All I Really Want to Do, which is a really cool Bob song. I'm going to get into my Phoebe Bridgers bag over here. Love a little Phoebe. Before I ever knew Boy Genius or Phoebe Bridgers, honestly, Kid Cudi put me on to...
And thank you, Victrola, right?
Thank you, Victrola. This is going to play in my house tonight, after party. Blink-182, Blondie. Why don't we finish up with Frank Ocean? Oh, Brian Wilson. Wait, we got to get a little Brian Wilson going. Pet Sounds. This is one of the greatest albums of all time. Another one that didn't really get a lot of love when it came out. Okay, and I'm also going to get into my Beastie Boys. You know, Beastie Boys, I still don't really have an appreciation for the Beastie Boys, but now I'm understanding how iconic they were. And that the Eminem Kamikaze album kind of rips his cover, right? I mean, pays homage. Interesting. Yeah, gotta get into.
Did you do a lot of research for Bob Dylan, like buying a lot of his records?
I'll be honest, not vinyls. I have a lot of vinyls, but no. I'll be honest.
Is there anything else you're looking for, like this along here?
Yeah.
Chris, is there any Frank Ocean?
Probably somewhere, right? Gotta be some Frank Ocean. The Modern Goat.
We'll follow Chris as he leads us through the
Andrew
racks.
Springsteen, Santana, unbelievable. Iggy Pop, very cool stuff. Right here. Where does it say Frank Ocean? There we go. Blonde. Whoa, cool.
Is it the one Frank Ocean?
One of one.
One.
This I will grab. Man, this
On
is,
vinyl.
on vinyl. This is the most expensive thing. This is $50. Why is it? I mean, unbelievable. That's some cool shit. Very cool, man. Yep. Modern Goat, Modern Bob. This is the Modern Bob right here.
Any oldies you're looking for?
Yeah,
Any
let me grab one
oldies?
more oldies. Yeah, why don't we get some nice stuff you put on in the morning, make you feel sophisticated?
I'm not forcing you to pick up music, am I? This is stuff you really want, right?
Am I paying for this? Probably.
I hope so, Babu.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. Buddy Holly, I'm gonna grab
I can chip in
No,
a bit.
it's okay. It's okay. Dune did well. This is the original Buddy Holly. This is like the original rock star. Like, maybe you can't tell from this picture, but this is one of the coolest people of all time. But would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Buddy Holly, one of the coolest people of all time. Don't know how Record Surplus landed at $34.70, but I guess I'm paying for it. And Little Richard, let's get a Little Richard. See, this is why I can't, go on eBay or shout out Ragtag online on eBay. My order didn't get delivered, and now I got to redo the DHL shipping label, or they're not going to refund me.
For the movie,
Yeah.
in the record store, like Music In, were there vintage records actually in the record store?
In fact, there was the Harry Belafonte record I was just telling you about that had Bob Dylan on the back, and in the movie, wouldn't have been clear if Bob Dylan in the version of that movie would have worked with Harry Belafonte yet. So I pointed it out to Jim, and Jim did this thing where he throws powder on the ground and it explodes and he disappeared. The director.
Continuity, you helped with that.
I helped with the continuity. If anybody noticed that and they're paying attention to that, the movie's probably already doomed.
And they said also for takes, like you'd see a take and want to redo the take just because of the music performance, right?
Man, we did like 11, 12 takes sometimes of the music stuff. This was the most fun I've ever had on a movie, Nardwuar. And it was, it was gratifying. It felt dignified to bring life to Bob Dylan, one of the great artists of our times, and I get to be his voice. And you know, in a world where they're making a movie about the Beatles, or they've made a movie about Johnny Cash or Elvis, other fantastic figures, I get to be the voice of Bob Dylan. That's like the greatest honor of my life, truly.
Thanks again for coming to Record Surplus. Anything else, lastly, you're looking for here?
Nope.
Actually, is there going to be a soundtrack for your movie?
Yeah, there's a vinyl coming. There's a lot of debate over what the vinyl cover would be, and I threw my hands up and just whatever they wanted to use, you know, because I wanted to do something a little artsier. But you know, they got an image of me up there, which is all good.
So we'll just go right back here
Yep.
to where we began
Fantastic.
for Nardwuar the Human Serviette versus
Timothée Chalamet, Nardwuar, demos on ding dong, bom demo don't,
Dada.
demo no ding bum bum bum.
You can actually put that down, but don't put it on the mint poster.
Yeah, I won't put it on the mint poster. I'm gonna put this aside, and you know, because I'm a big fan of your work, I feel like your crew here is gonna do inserts at the covers before I go, or not.
Thank you for remembering that. I really appreciate
I'm a
that.
big Nardwuar fan. I grew up on it. You know, I grew up on. You know, yep.
I was curious, like, you've done all this Dylan stuff. And lastly, I wanted to give you another gift. Bob Dylan songbook played by...
The Golden Gate Strings. The Golden Gate Strings.
So some relaxing Bob Dylan for you.
Okay, amazing. Amazing.
You followed all the serious Bob Dylan, but now some relaxing.
I didn't know anything about the Golden Gate Strings. Cool.
What do you think about the selection of
The
songs?
selection is, well, I could see some of these being kind of relaxing. I don't see Subterranean Homesick Blues being relaxing. Why don't we get a little Radiohead before I go too? Because I've been getting, you know, Subterranean Homesick Alien. I've been in a big Radiohead phase. Let's just find it real quick. Radiohead. I don't know if I'm seeing. Oh, right behind it. Duh. Okay. Gotta get a little OK Computer going. Woo! This is a great record. I mean, Subterranean Homesick Alien, and over here, Subterranean Homesick Blues.
Amazing.
That's some cool shit. I love
It's cool you can compare them.
I can compare them, and then we can actually put both of them next to the face of the wickedly talented Troye Sivan.
With Timothée
Chalamet.
at Record Surplus and Nardwuar the Human Serviette. Thank you again for the time. I really appreciate you coming out today. I guess you have a busy day promoting the movie.
Busy day promoting the movie and going on NPR now, so I'm gonna have to get out of this headspace and put on my, you know, my actually same head, you know, whatever. And I got a premiere tonight.
Thank you also, Timothée, for the shout out on Popcorn with Peter Travers from 2017.
Yeah, you can tell I've been a fan for a long time.
Like from 2017,
Yeah.
what happened then? Like, how did you discover me?
Oh, way before that. Wait, what was my first Nardwuar interview? It might have been Tyler the Creator, might have been Lil B, might have been Kid Cudi. What was, I don't know what my first Nardwuar interview was.
But I was so blown away to hear you mention me to Peter Travers, like out of the blue.
Also, shout out Peter Travers, big legend. 2 thumbs up, 4 popcorns. You know, no, I love Nardwuar, and I just hope, I see you shooting on this iPhone, I hope you crunch it and make it look how you used to look.
Exactly.
Not you, the video.
No, boom.
Boom.
No, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And actually, a little behind the nard for you. The Little B interview was actually shot in the dark. That's the reason it looked that way.
Yeah, it looks wild.
Because it was at night
And he's got the coolest teeth of all time.
and there were no lights.
There were no lights, and his teeth are like shining.
So everything is identical. The same intro, the same extra, the same cutaways. It looks exactly the same, except we haven't done this at night.
You haven't done it at night, and we're all slightly aged and crazier emerging post-pandemic. But I heard you had a great pandemic.
Well, it's amazing that I discovered that you shouted me out. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
I had time to discover that you shouted me out.
Fantastic.
I really appreciate that, though. Thanks for coming out again to Record Surplus and doing an interview with me, Timothée. I really appreciate it.
Nardwuar, this is a music film in a lot of ways, and this is the movie. You know, this is one of the movies I'm the most proud of in my career. So I want to hit every verse, including the Nardwuar verse, in the effort to get this movie out, because we worked our tail off on it, and Bob Dylan is a figure that deserves this attention.
Why should people care about Timothée Chalamet? Why should people care about Bob Dylan?
They don't.
Well, thanks so much,
Yes, sir.
Timothée. Keep on rocking in the free world and do.
Doot doot.
Yeah.